G'day traders, Sam here from TradeToProspa to give you another update. This is an important one, looking at the DXY or the US dollar index, as it has or can be an indicator for the likes of the stock market and cryptocurrency. I think I should just do this on its own and give it a bit of concentration and what to expect. This is the weekly chart, and from a MEDI perspective, as you can see, there's all confluence with this channel. So what I've done is find some key points and just use those references along the bottom, and and the channel in the middle makes sense as well. So we've hit, that was a breakout from this channel, as you can see right there. However, what keeps it going is this other direction of the channel, and looking at these tops, very confluent, and I did call that out, that we'll find a fair bit of a pullback, consolidation potentially in this range before we break up to the upside or come down. So, well, not that down, but basically potentially go back towards this middle channel to go back up again. So there's two possibilities really at the end of the day. The third possibility is just go sideways for some time, but I don't see that happening. Now, when we look at the weekly chart, and if we look at this previous top there, you can see that's an ascending wedge or rising wedge. Let's have a closer look at that for a sec. And also put my moving averages, 10 and 20 moving average ribbon, as you can see, the black and red. I'm sorry, green and red. And what we have here is as I said, is a trend line, a rising wedge, clearly seen there. I don't know why it keeps changing colors. Doesn't make sense, but maybe from other charts. So that was once we break. So what we've seen is a classical rising wedge. We find our base. We have 1, 2, 3, and then the breakdown pretty much signifies a reversal. So that formation is pretty important, and that's taken 2 years. It looks like. Geez, that's a long time. So let's look at that range from there to there. Yes, 686 days, 2 years, pretty much it. All right, so that's a rising wedge and a breakdown for the previous top. Now let's look at the current situation. We're in the early days at the moment to say this is a reversal, but when we look at this particular area, let me just get rid of some of these drawings. Okay, so this rising channel, and we hit the top, and if we look compared to this with the RSI or the MACD, you can see bearish divergence that took 2 years to play out. So that's not going to be an easy wait, is it? 2 years to play out, far out. Right on. So that was our bearish divergence, and similarly now right here. So the MACD does a good job showing out the bearish divergence each stage playing out. Here we have none. It's still a nice MACD is still rising, and it's possible that this third bounce, so we got here 1, 2, 3, it's possible that this could cross over and make a deeper pull. Here we've got a bearish divergence in the making. So that was one that pulled back, and you can say that's the other. Okay. So when we look at it from that perspective, there is a bearish divergence playing. However, it could easily be that we find another bounce and then see what happens there. So that's what I'm expecting on the weekly basic, and this could potentially come down here and find a bounce, because that was previous resistance and the top of the channel, like I showed you. So there is a likely chance that we still go sideways there, and it could potentially, like I said, go to the upside over a bit of time, hit this level. If this was to go, it could still probably hit that level and then continue on. I think this inflation and mass printing will probably make inflation just go more, and the US dollar keep continuing, because the likes of Europe, which this DXY is based on, most of it, they're already starting to do mass printing. So it's likely that the DXY is going to go stronger, and until we break this level, then we'll look at potentially going to a 20 moving average. So this is a 10 and 20 moving average. At the moment, I'm thinking it's going to hit the 10 moving average. Let's getting closer. So the weekly, I think it's going to come down to the 10 moving average and then find support. Or if we go into small time frame, I'm going to show you more. But from a weekly perspective, still bullish, and therefore no reversal on the stock market or any other, or crypto. So let's look at on the daily. And let's just get rid of all this. Okay, so I had this channel on the daily. Hold on, give us a sec. Oh, come on. I'm sure I've got to click on it. Right. So that's the channel that we had. The weekly moving averages work here fine. Here, it's probably the 50. Let's just add another moving average. Let's see if it's a 50. And sure enough, it looks like the 50. Let's make that black, some other color, and then we have the 100. So it's likely to pull back to the very similar to this bottom here. I think if this doesn't hold on the 20, right now we're on the 20 moving average, and if we go into a small time frame, now this doesn't quite work on that. Let's just put that on the daily. Yep. So we can see how that 10 and 20 movie average close on the 8-hour crossed over. So what we have here is potentially, so that's one level, and we could probably find the bounce here, potentially. However, you can see this is a strong previous resistance. So if this was to come down further, and on the channel, you can see from this perspective, let's just do this, previous support on this channel, or the Fibonacci. So this is going to be a very strong support. So if this was to come down further, that means a Bitcoin and stock market might go a bit higher. That's how we have aligned it so far, with assumptions, obviously. So this could come down further, but definitely, whatever that equates to in Bitcoin terms, it's probably a good time to short or take profit. That is my thinking at the moment, based on this strategy with the DXY and the stock market and cryptocurrency. So at the moment, it's finding support, pretty much like that. But I do think if it was to come down a bit further, definitely look to taking profit or shorting opportunities. As I said, it's likely to find support on the weekly right there. So this comes down here, 10 moving average on the weekly, or the 50 looks like on the daily. So the 10 and 50 are equated similarly. So interesting. 50 moving average on the daily equates to nearly 10 on the weekly. Okay, so that's what I have at the moment. Definitely weekly level, weekly support is definitely there. You can see that. by the body of the candles on the weekly, and therefore we're not going to really go down much. It might be just a week, and then we'll continue on. Let's look on the 3-day. Yeah, so that's a bearish engulfing candle. Second candle, we want to see how the third candle turns out, and then we'll come out. So on the 3-day, so that's we got, what have we got? Why don't I have time on? Okay, there is 1 day, 10 hours. So we still got another, yep, okay, day and a half basically for this candle to close, and then we look at the third candle in the making to assess if it's bearish or more bullish. I think it will become a small red candle or green candle, and then I think it's going to turn after this one is closed. So that's what I have at the moment in terms of the Dixie. And I think that wraps it up. On the daily, you can see bearish divergence. This is coming down. So yeah, it's still downward pressure, I think. And these guys are played out pretty much. But let's just do that for a sec. Just clear all that. All right. Okay, so from that perspective, on the 3-day, let's just go 2-day. Also, what the RSI does. Yeah, very much aligned with the trend there. So there's not much there to give us any further commentary. So please give me a like and share, and I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.